Drive Podcast.
Welcome back. Yet another week, and we are on the road to Maine. Damn, it is here. Episode 195, 5 away from 200. Good math, actually. Pretty simple, huh? Not bad. All right. Well, this is your boy East Coast Trev, and I'm joined... Actually, I'm in the passenger seat with my good buddy, Mr. Madman Mardick.
Cap's here.
Cap's here. Okay, the cab. Catch the cab.
Good news is we didn't
that?
have to hitchhike all the way to Maine.
Well, that's good.
I thought we were going to have to for a second.
I was hoping that you were going to.
I wasn't.
Why is that?
Because my truck was a mess 24 hours ago, I think. It didn't have a drive shaft in it. Had to replace the U-joint, carrier bearing. But we got her put back together, and we're full send, bud.
Yeah.
We're doing 80 on 95 right now.
80 on 95. We are headed north. We've made it through the state of Massachusetts. We are actually in the great state of Maine right now. Got a little bit of time left. We got 2 hours on the road until we are pulling into camp and meeting up with our good buddy Mark. And then we're about 6 hours away from meeting up with Seth from 207 Outfitters. For you guys that don't know, that's what this podcast is with.
If
the boys
you don't
from
know, now you know.
No, Hunter.
Sucker.
It's Hunter.
Well,
we got our backwoods packed, and we are ready to rock and roll, dude. I'm pumped, dude.
Fired
I am
up.
fired.
There's going
fired
to
up.
be zero sleep going on in the next 5 days.
Yep.
But
There's no sleep to be had. We'll be night hunting with Seth, and we will be turkey hunting during the day. And it's Memorial Day weekend.
Like Trev would say, it doesn't get any better than that.
It doesn't get no better than that. It just doesn't. It's the best day of my life. That's what I say. Oh, it's just nice to be back on the road. You guys will hear some, maybe some tire slappage from them 35s and the old Yoda, but it's all right. Keep it going. We just doing what we do, baby. We just drive and drive and drive. So, what's up with you, Mardick? You all right over there? You alive, kicking,
I'm good.
or what?
I'm good. I'm just concentrating on the road, and I'm navigating because I can't trust you with that, so I got to do it all, you know.
Well, I got to do everything else. I got to make cover arts, post the podcast. I got a lot of stuff.
Something.
Well, hey, you mind your own business over there, devil woman.
Devil, fuck off. Dude, I'm just excited, man. Get away for the holiday weekend. No work. All play.
All play, man. You got a killer's corner on this
I do.
one? Anything good?
Oh, let me do that while I'm driving, too.
Driving and navigating
I'll
all
run
at the same
through
time.
it
And we're
quick.
going to go.
No offense to anybody on the list.
Yeah.
Chris Bittman, first bird of the year. Kevin Camara, tagged out in Mass. Mike Salter with a little fishing derby action with his kids. And shout out to, this isn't a killer's corner, but he did kill it, Ryan Mack with a just awesome post on the Outdoor Drive group page.
Oh, no, he killed it.
Yeah, he killed it. We appreciate that. Hashtag send snoods, not nudes.
Yeah.
And we love seeing stuff like that, so keep up that stuff.
That's what it's really all about. That's what the Outdoor Drive family group on Facebook is all about.
Right.
It's just keeping that going, dude. Always seeing what everyone's got going on. Tons of snoods. I think there was like 90-something snoods that got sent in.
Yeah. And the main thing is just don't be bashful with the group page. Like, that's what it's for. It's not for us to post stuff. It's for you guys to post stuff.
You guys see enough of our stuff on Instagram and Facebook. It's there for you guys. Post jokes, post good videos, pictures, kills, whatever, hashtags, whatever you need to post.
And then real quick, I'm not going to read it all because I'm driving, but I think this is going to be the last podcast before the closing of Tri-State Skin Divers closes, so make sure you check that out. And then
those boys actually did something really cool. They cleaned up the beaches in Rhode Island.
They do that all the time.
Super cool.
They always do like little work parties and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, don't forget Saddle Up Saturday at Wild Edge, June 24th, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Nice.
Come check it out. I will be there. I'm going to try to bring some hats if anybody wants one.
If there's anything left.
Right. Stickers, and let's just hang. Pun intended.
Let's hang and bang.
So...
Well, man, I think the weekend's going to be really good. I'm super excited
There's
for that.
zero doubt in my mind that it's going to be a blast.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's run through and do some house cleaning real quick, and then we can get it back on with the show. What do you say?
I think it's a fantastic idea.
All right. As you guys all know, make sure to go and check out Huntworth Gear. We are the official podcast of Huntworth. Well, not even. No, we're not that. We're definitely not that. We're not the only podcast of it. They are the official camo of the Outdoor Drive podcast. Also, our title sponsor, Huntworth Gear, huntworthgear.com. We're going to put that to test in the Maine woods. I'm super happy with it throughout this season. This is my second turkey season with it. Absolutely love the gear. Phenomenal gear.
It was fun packing for the trip because I brought so much shit. Because you never know when you go out of state. I mean, I pretty much brought everything but heat boost.
Yeah.
And I might even have brought my vest, too.
I always bring heat boost vest because you never know.
You never know.
You never.
Plus, even worse comes worse, you just look swaggy in it.
Right.
You know, it's just the vest on, just lounging around camp.
Killing
Just
it.
look like a G.
That's what the Durham pants are for, too.
That's
Nor'easter Game Calls, nor'eastergamecalls.com. Guys, get on over the website, buy some stuff, good stuff. New seasons are ringing in. Mark's got about 50-something grunt tubes ready to rock here soon. Those will be on the website. And all of your turkey calls, you guys can start practicing now for next season. Don't miss out on those there. And also Bow Hunters United, bowhuntersunited.com. The sign-up link is down below in the podcast details down below, so make sure you guys go and sign up for Bow Hunters United, and they also bring you news for your cruise with Mr. Mike Salter. Let's take a break, bring it on over to Mike.
All right, guys, why don't we buckle up and see what's going on in the world of news with Mr. Mike Salter.
Hey everyone, let's kick this one off in Colorado, where 2 wolf management bills have been approved and are awaiting the governor's signature. SB 256 prohibits the reintroduction of gray wolves into an area if the U.S. Secretary of the Interior has not made a final determination as to whether the gray wolf population in the area is experimental, which gives the state greater flexibility to manage the wolves, or if the U.S. Secretary of Interior or the U.S. Department of Agriculture has not completed an environmental impact study under federal law. SB 255 creates a wolf depredation compensation fund to compensate landowners and agricultural producers for wolf depredation of livestock and working animals. Colorado residents are urged to email the governor and ask for support of the bills, and this can be done directly through howlforwildlife.org. Now to South Carolina, where the prohibition on Sunday hunting on public lands has been lifted. On May 26th, new WMA regulations will take effect that allow Sunday hunting on 8 WMAs and 2 national forests from October 15th through January 31st. Now to Maryland, where SB 327, HB 983 was signed into law, which will increase fees for certain hunting and trapping licenses, establish a stamp for hunting sika deer, and authorize non-resident college and university students to purchase resident hunting and fishing licenses. This sees increases in the license fees for the first time in over 3 decades in Maryland. Now in New York, where the Environmental Conservation Committee has passed SB 4099 and sent the bill to the Senate for consideration and can now be brought up for a vote at any time. The bill is aimed at banning coyote contests, but is written to ban any competition where the goal is to take wildlife for a prize or entertainment. The bill does, however, include exemptions for field trials and other canine performance events, as well as contests for deer, turkey, and bear. You can take action against this bill directly on the Sportsman's Alliance website. Now to Vermont, where the Vermont Fish and Wildlife Department and Vermont Fish and Wildlife Board are accepting public comments and will hold 3 public hearings on new proposed regulations for trapping and for hunting coyotes with the aid of dogs. The new regulations are in response to Acts 159 and 165 passed last year. Act 159 directed the department to improve safety and welfare of animals trapped during the trapping season. The department's proposal includes establishing safety buffers between public roads, state-owned trails, and places where traps can be set, and restricting the use of body gripping traps to protect pets. Act 165 directs the department to create rules guiding the use of dogs to hunt coyotes. The department's proposal includes capping the number of individuals permitted to hunt coyotes with dogs to 100 hunters, restricting the number of dogs involved in each hunt to 4 or fewer, and providing safety provisions like requiring that the dogs wear tracking and control collars. Complete details on the proposals can be found on the department's website, and comments can be submitted through June 30th to anr.fwpubliccomment@vermont.gov. Hearings will be held on June 20th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Rutland Middle School, June 21st from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Montpelier High School, and June 22nd online via Microsoft Teams. These regulations are expected to take effect in January 2024 if they go through. Also in Vermont, the Department of Fish and Wildlife is asking for help from turkey hunters and is attempting to collect effort data such as days hunted, hours hunted per day, etc., to help better understand turkey trends and regional differences in populations. The department is asking hunters to log their turkey hunting information using the mobile Vermont Outdoors app. So get that information in for them to help them better manage the turkey hunting, the turkey population. Now to Rhode Island, where today the House Environmental Resources Committee is scheduled to consider HB 5864, which is identical to SB 607, and prohibits hunting where man-made structures and or natural barriers are designed to limit an animal's free movement. It is anybody's guess what this means, but would obviously include roads, canals, fences, and an infinite number of obstacles which exist everywhere in the state. This is an extremely bad bill. And you are urged to take action and voice opposition directly through the Sportsman's Alliance website. Lastly, to Michigan and some opportunities for those who want to learn wing shooting. Classes will be held in June where you will learn the basic skills of holding and shooting a gun at a moving target guided by experts. Shotguns and ammo will be provided, but you are welcome to bring your own. Participants must be 18 years or older and will need to bring their own eye and ear protection. Classes will be held on June 14th and 28th at 6 p.m. at the DNR Rose Lake Shooting Range, and on June 15th at the Frankenmuth Conservation Club at 6 p.m. These classes are free, but registration is required. Also, please don't forget to click on the Outdoor Drives affiliate link in the episode description to join Bowhunters United. Join today to protect and expand your bowhunting rights and get some awesome swag. As always, if you have any news to send along to me, it'd be greatly appreciated. Reach out to me at Mike Salter on Facebook or bearded_bowhunter21 on Instagram. With that, enjoy the rest of your ride.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you, buddy. As always, some good news. You guys make sure to hit up Mike and send him over your snoods because he loves snoods, so send them over to him. Well, man, we're halfway to Maine, dude. Got a couple hours ready to rock and roll, dude. What are you thinking? What's on your mind, dude?
Dude, I don't know, to be honest with you. I know we're going to have a good time. Kill or not kill, it's not going to, change how this weekend is going to go, but I have a feeling some shit is going to die.
I think so too, man. Seth's been putting in a lot of work. Mark's been putting in a lot of work. And then the Killers just joined into town, dude.
That's right.
So it's going to be a good time. The boys, Seth is not able to, our boy Seth Boulay.
Booyah.
He's not going to be able to join us this weekend. Death in the family, dude. My condolences to him. Sorry to hear that. Lou, I'm not really sure. I think he's at ballet class or doing something. Who knows?
I think he's in the Bermuda Triangle because nobody can get a hold of him right now.
We haven't heard from him since noon.
I don't know. You might see Lou's face on a milk carton or something like that.
Gone missing. Yeah,
Hashtag where's Lou?
Yeah. Well, life takes tolls, man. Family first. It's always most important over having fun. Good thing that we don't really have family, so.
Oh, they know.
Yeah, they know. It's all good. But, looking forward to the week. And going to be an absolute blast. We're going to kill it back in there. Sunday, we're going to kick it off in Nor'easter in the shop to be able to mess around and hopefully bring you guys some new stuff to the Nor'easter Game Calls website. Hopefully after we might come up with some good things. This is always when all the meeting of the minds come up with some good stuff. So we can't thank 207 Guide Service for the hospitality and also Nor'easter Game Calls for the hospitality in the great state of Maine. And hopefully we'll be coming to you with some great tales from the tailgate of killing some stuff, dude. We're going to get the muzzleloaders out, do some skeet shooting, possibly shoot some turkeys with that, the Barrett 50 cal. We got all kinds of big plans, shooting coyotes at night. It's going to be some good stuff, dude. It's going to be a really good weekend.
I think now that I think about it, I think the thing I'm looking forward to most.
I didn't ask.
I don't care.
Okay.
You know me. Is just different. Hunting different. From talking to Mark and talking a little bit to Seth, and might be a little bit different style than we're used to, and it's that whole problem solving and figuring out how we do it and how we can get it done, and that killer's going to kill and kind of putting the pieces together and getting it done, and just learning different ways and tactics to get it done. because that's how you learn and evolve and become a better hunter and be able to kill anywhere you go. I might have just missed an exit.
Did you?
I don't know. Yes, I did.
Oh, nice job.
That's okay. Rerouting.
How much did it put us back? Same time?
No, 11 o'clock.
Doesn't matter. And I want to, all the people that are involved in this weekend, 207, Nor'easter, by far, this was his idea. Great thing. We're super excited about it. Mark, thank you so much.
This hunt was brought to you by Nor'easter Game Calls.
He said that at the end of camp in Connecticut last weekend. Also, Greg, Mark's really good buddy, Greg Andrews, for, supplying the camp.
Yeah.
I mean, we get to come up, spend the weekend in his camp. He's actually going to come up Friday night and hunt in Maine also. And, be with him and RJ and Bobby, Mark, Tim from 207 and Seth. I mean, it's just super pumped, dude. It's going to be such a great weekend, Memorial Day weekend. Most of you guys are frying hot dogs. And
we're frying hot dogs.
We're frying hot dogs.
Jordans.
I
think Mark got 20 pounds or something.
Is that what he got, dude?
He got a lot
it's always
of
good.
And I don't know if you ever had a Jordan hot dog before. Well, I know you have, but the listeners, there ain't nothing like a Jordan hot dog.
No.
And I'm a hamburger guy, but I will fuck up some Jordan hot dogs.
But we're definitely going to be hunting on Memorial Day weekend. Super excited for that. And to kill a Maine bird.
80 hot dogs. And 65 burgers.
Holy Jesus
And
Lord.
chicken and kielbasa.
Wow. We're in trouble.
We're fat kids. What can I say?
What can I say? Well, let's turn this thing on over to the boys from 207. We're going to learn a little bit about guiding in Maine, what it takes to be a Maine guide, and just a little bit about the boys and what they do. Veterans and getting more veterans and youths out. They have a ton of really good things going on. Go over and check those boys out at 207outfitters.com.
They also take hooligans out like us too, though.
Yeah, they take us Jamokans out.
They don't profile.
They're not. I just don't think that they know any better. I just don't. Who knows?
We'll have to check in with them at the end of the week and see how excited they are.
Yeah, well, we'll see. It's all good. Well, let's turn it over to the boys, man. Let's get this podcast underway. We're going to get back to the road. We're going to get into camp, and we're going to kill something in the morning. So here's the boys from 207. All right, we're back on the phone with the boys from 207 Outfitters. What's up, guys?
What's happening? How's it going?
How's the weather up there in Maine?
It's pouring rain here right now.
Oh, no. That's never good. That's not a good
start. Supposed to end by
the
morning, though, so there's hope.
All right.
Yeah.
So why don't you guys tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you guys do.
All right. My name's Tim Black. I started 207 Outfitters with another guy we work with, Josh Haynes, and Seth is on board, Seth Edwards, and Blaine Bronson.
Awesome. Why don't you guys tell us a little bit about the guide service and a little bit about kind of what you guys do and how it all started for you guys?
Well, it started for me. I became a guide back in 2005 and tried to do a little bit here and there for other outfitters over the years. And I retired from the Maine State Police back in 2020, I think it was. And was kind of sitting around doing some odd jobs here and there and decided that, let's hang a shingle out and see if we can get some moose hunts going,
Yeah, absolutely.
And that we got way more attention than I thought we were going to get. I expected we'd get, 1 or 2 hunts maybe, if that. And I think we ended up with 4. Didn't we have, Seth, 4 or 5? 5, I think. Yeah, the first year, which is pretty good, and it was based on our word of mouth was the first season. All of our hunts were recommendations from other people that we knew, and we did really well that first season. We went, I think we were 5 for 5 on bulls, 4 for 4 on bulls, and we had a cow hunt that we didn't end up filling. We had some opportunities, but just didn't get it filled in the end. But we still had a great time.
That's awesome. Seth, why don't we turn the key with you, man? Why don't you tell everybody who you are, where you're from, and a little bit about what you do?
Yeah, my name's Seth Edwards. I live in central Maine. I've been guiding for I just started last year, really. Always been outdoors. And, after I retired from the state police, same time as Tim did, just looking for something else. I've got a farm here, and it keeps me really busy, and a couple other businesses, but just like being out in the fall and being a part of that process where other people are able to harvest an animal and helping them out doing that. pretty special. And then working with some pretty cool guys helps too.
That's awesome. So what made you guys want to start guiding after retiring out of the police force?
Just boredom.
Pure boredom. there's nothing wrong with that.
I think it was more like my wife saying, "You really need to do something."
that or she was gonna probably divorce you or kill you, one or the other.
It was something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
It was, for me anyways. I retired and I went into lobstering. Went lobstering for a couple seasons with another guy, and at the end of that, I realized that I didn't want to do that anymore. So I just kind of stayed home and basically been home with the kids, running them. They're basically my full-time job right now is the kids, running them around everywhere they need to be, which is, if anyone's got kids, they know that's a full-time job, between sports and school. But we talked about it in the past, Josh and I think we'd even talked with Seth years ago about starting a guide business and doing stuff. And we said, well, we've got the time, let's do it. And it got a little bigger than we thought it was going to right off the bat, like I said before. But that's kind of where it went. We're all big in the outdoors and we love being out there. And I've worked for a few outfitters in the past, and I said, this is something that we can do on our own, and kind of tailor it the way we want it, and do our own thing.
How about you, Seth?
I guess I'm in a little bit of a different boat than Tim. It wasn't out of boredom or being threatened. It was, just an extension of my season, if you will. I live for hunting. It's sort of, all I do, all I think about. But you can only kill so many things, and then you're done. So being able to take other people out and getting to see their excitement, the thought of that is what drove me to it, and that's how I ended up here.
Well, it's kind of crazy too. Like Maine, I mean, it's tough to draw a moose tag, right? So like, it takes a lot of time. I mean, I've been putting in for close to 10 years and never been drawn. And like, so for you to guide for moose, then you're able to do those moose hunts every year.
Yep.
So you get to enjoy that hunt year after year after year.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep. And that's a good thing about it is, like you said, I got drawn for a moose tag back in 06, and then my wife got drawn back in 21. But between that time, I went on, I don't know how many, tons of moose hunts because I was guiding for them. So like you said, I get to go on a moose hunt every year.
Right. See, that's so awesome. And then one of the things I do want to, because a lot of people always talk about this, on how hard it is to graduate from the guide academy. Like, that's not an easy thing to do.
No, it's more like there's classes right now that a lot of people are taking, and it really prepares them for the test. And the test is a written test and an oral board test of what you know. And Seth would know more about the process. He went through it most recent of us, so he can probably talk about it a little more than I could.
Yeah, it's really no joke. There's a lot of studying that goes into it, and they expect you to know a lot, as you should. Being trusted with other people's lives, that you should know exactly what you're doing and be confident in how you're doing it.
And it wasn't easy to pass it, right?
Excuse me. Yeah, no, sorry, I had to clear my throat there. But no, it's not easy to pass at all. There's, you're not required to take a class. There's people that offer classes, and I was fortunate that a gentleman offered a class free to veterans, and I was able to go and kind of prepare myself a little better. But it's not a requirement. You can just go in there and take the written test and the oral board test and the map and compass and identification and all that stuff, and you still can pass. But it's just a way to better prepare to take the class.
Yep. Yeah, I always thought about it, but in all reality, I mean, I don't. I'm almost scared to take it because everyone says how hard it is to pass the thing.
No, it's not easy, but it is achievable. There's quite a few people that pass it every year. So.
Yep.
So one of the questions I got, like, how do you guys all know each other to be able to guide together? Like, did you guys meet prior, or what? Where's the connection and friendship?
So the four of us were all in the state police here in Maine, and we all came on at different times, and three of us in the group. Tim, Blaine, and I have since retired, and Josh is still on the job. But yeah, that's where we all met in the state police. We were in a specialty team together for quite a few years, and got to know each other pretty well. And we've all since got off the team and kind of went back to our respective areas, if you will, and hadn't really touched base all that much. But then this opportunity came up, and we've all reconnected, and here we are.
That's awesome.
I got a question for you guys. Where do you see worse shooting, at the qualification shooting or guiding hunts with the thermals? I've night hunted once before in Georgia, and I thought I was a really good shot with my rifle until I threw a thermal on and tried shooting coyotes at night, and I sucked.
Yeah, it's a little different.
It's way different, yeah.
Yeah.
But that's got to be
definitely
interesting.
take some getting used to.
That's got to be interesting with you guys having new guys in and out of camp every week. I'm sure you deal with a lot of mishaps and misses.
Well, we try to vet the clients as best we can, and we also our top priority when they're coming up there is their safety, our safety and their safety.
Yeah.
The animals is secondary by far. So we go over the safety rules, we go over the firearm safety, we go over aid safety, all the stuff that can happen in the woods. Because usually a lot of times we're a long ways from any medical attention other than us. To get to a hospital would probably take an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Who knows how long it's going to take to get to a hospital. So we have them shoot as soon as they get there. We want to make sure their guns are zeroed and that they're familiar with their guns, because people will, moose hunt's technically a once in a lifetime hunt. I mean, they say that it's usually not, because people will get drawn multiple times, but people will go out the week before the moose hunt and buy a new gun. And they're not familiar with that gun at all. Like they'll be shooting semi-autos their whole life, and they'll go buy a bolt gun for the moose hunt. Well, when they need that follow-up shot, it's not going to be there. Because they're waiting for the semi-auto to do its thing.
Right.
So we try to walk them through everything we can, and make it as safe and as enjoyable for them. Get them as comfortable as they can, and get them shooting safely.
What? And I know this is crazy, but what kind of calibers would you recommend for a moose hunt?
Anything 270 and above. I like 30 cals. 308, 30-06, 300 Win Mag. But more importantly, it's a gun that you're comfortable with. You'll see some people show up with a 338 Lapua, and they've shot 2 rounds out of it. And they're not comfortable with it at all. But you'll also see some people show up with a 6mm, and they can nail things with that thing. And we've seen moose go down with all those calibers.
Right.
So more importantly than caliber is just how comfortable you are with the gun, with the caliber.
That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Taking down a moose, it's got to be definitely something where, and especially most of these clients that are coming up, it's probably the first time that they've ever seen a moose live.
Yeah, a lot of them. Yep.
Have you guided any archery moose hunts?
I have. Yep. Yeah, I guided one back in, I can't remember what the year was, but it was for another outfitter. He ended up shooting a mastic bull at 12 yards.
That's
a really
awesome.
Beautiful bull.
Wow.
And I'd never done it before that. I bow hunt myself, but I'd never guided a moose hunt for a bow hunt before. So I said, this is going to be a learning experience for both of us.
Right.
And that bull, the night before, we'd had a bull at about 8 yards, but we couldn't get a shot. And then the next morning, we ended up killing that one at 12 yards.
Jeez. And then the work begins, because now it's not next to the road. It's now ran way further into the slash or whatever.
Yep. And most of our hunts are way off the road anyways.
Mm-hmm.
So we quarter and pack out all of our meat quarter up the moose and then pack it out.
See, that's a really cool thing, because you see a lot of guys that guide moose in Maine. They try to keep them as close to the road as possible, but you don't have that. You don't have that chance of shooting a once-in-a-lifetime moose, I think, from the road. Or it's a less chance than going in and getting them that's further off the road.
It's much less of a chance. The moose have evolved over the years. Back in the '90s and '80s, you could shoot, trophy bulls from the road, and that still happens. They do, once in a while they'll shoot these smashers from the road. But and I say from the road, this is dirt roads we're talking about,
Right.
logging roads, not paved roads, but it still happens. But to get the real monsters now, you got to get off the road and get back there.
Mm-hmm.
Get away from the road and get away from the trucks and the areas that they're staying away from.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's crazy. That's awesome, though. I hope I get drawn. I really do.
Yeah, it's a great time. I mean, when you see a moose come at you, you're 8, 10, 12 yards away from this thing, or all of our shots are usually well under 100 yards, and usually they're under 25 to 50 to 25 yards. Jeez. Or even closer.
So it's like calling in a turkey, more or less.
Yeah, it is. Yep, that's exactly what it is. And when I first started guiding moose hunters for another outfitter, I said, I don't know anything about moose hunting, and he says, well, you can turkey hunt, right? Yeah, he said, same thing. He said, it's just a 1,000-pound turkey.
And
That stinks.
That stinks.
Yeah. And they can kill you. And they can actually kill you,
Well, turkey stinks too, and they could kill you also.
Yeah.
Speaking of turkeys, how's the turkey hunting up that way?
It's going pretty good right now.
Is it still firing up?
Yeah, they're still pretty good. They're still gobbling a little bit and strutting. It's obviously getting close to the end of the season now, so they're running ragged, but just like us.
Yeah, tell me about
Yeah.
that.
I think
Story of my life.
they've seen quite a bit of pressure too up
Yeah.
in my area as well.
Seth was
So they're a little
tagged out
more
early.
skittish. Yeah.
And is there a lot of turkey hunters in Maine, or is this like a new thing with this whole 49?
I think it's definitely growing. I don't, there is some of the 49 stuff that goes on. I just met a couple of guys out the other day from Alabama, and got to talk to them, and they'd killed a bunch of birds actually where you guys are going to be staying. And but I don't see a lot of that. I think it's just organically growing.
Mm-hmm.
Here in Maine, that people are looking for something to do in the spring, and there's turkeys, a lot of turkeys, so they're taking the opportunity to go out there and get them.
It's kind of funny. It's actually your guys' turkeys came from our state, and we're coming up there to shoot the birds there.
Right.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We're hoping to take a couple back this week, so
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully you will. We
we're
got too many.
gonna reclaim a couple of them, bring them back to Connecticut.
Right.
Yep.
It's kind of funny, actually, this hunt, and I'll kind of fill in the kind of listeners here, too, is so obviously you guys have all been hearing about our turkey hunt, that we're going up to Maine and meet up with Mark Buzzell from Nor'easter Game Call, so on and so forth. Seth reached out to me and hearing this on the podcast, saying, hey, you're going to be kind of in our area. Why don't we link up, guide, hang out in camp, shoot some turkeys together. Got a couple guys that are guides. We'll take you out and help you guys out. So that's kind of where we got to this point. And we're looking forward to it. I think this is going to be a great time. Some good dudes. I actually met Seth at bear camp in the spring, and then kind of evolved into a friendship that it is today. And now we get to go back up and hunt together again. So we're looking forward to it. And then being able to meet Tim in camp too this week. And so we're super excited for that. I think it's going to be an absolute blast.
Yes, it'll be a lot of fun. I think we've got some good weather and hopefully get some cooperative birds, but nonetheless, we'll have fun.
Yeah, absolutely. And this now, see, I don't want to put the pressure on too much, but this would be 20 years since I've killed a bird in the state of Maine. So I killed my first bird ever at 12 years old in the state of Maine, and I haven't been up since. And so 20 years later, I'm going up to try and shoot another one. So I don't want to put the pressure on too much, but no.
Yeah, no pressure there. No
Basically,
pressure
what
there
he's
at
saying is, make sure you put a little WD-40 on the cage, so when you open the cage up and let the turkey out, he doesn't hear the cage door open.
Let's push it around the corner.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
that's what we're
right.
saying. Give it a quick kick in the ass. Just kind of push it down my way a little faster, right?
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
We wish it was like that.
Yeah.
So you boys have already, Seth, you tagged out what, the opening day?
Yeah, I got 2 opening day, and Tim didn't really have time. He was guiding his whole family, so he's got 2 kids and a wife, so he made sure they all got birds first, and he just tagged out with 2 toms 2 days ago, Jim.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up with you guys in the doubles?
Yeah, actually, they were both 2 birds with 1 shot, both of us.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Well, ammo's expensive. We got to conserve it,
Especially you start shooting tungsten or something crazy like that, $7-8 a shot.
Yeah, no kidding.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Worth it.
No, mine was just luck. It just happened to be in the wrong place at the right time.
That's crazy. And one of the things, so like, Tim, did you kill yours like on your own farm or?
Yep. Yeah, I did.
That's awesome. And Seth, you too, or?
No, it was opening day. It was raining here pretty hard in the morning, and so I didn't feel like going and sitting in the rain. So I went and did a few other things, but it cleared off, and I went riding around and found a couple and worked them.
That's crazy because to us, like, it's gonna be a little weird for us because everything back home, like, is private. So like you can't just like step on someone's land and go and hunt. Where Maine is completely opposite. If it's not posted, you can hunt it. So like it's gonna be like totally weird hunting on somebody's property, and you're just allowed to hunt there. That's got to be like the weirdest thing ever.
Yep. No, we've Tim and I have both done some out-of-state hunts, so we're pretty familiar with that as well. Where it's reverse posting, where you're not allowed to go onto their property unless you have permission. So it is different, but there's there's more and more posted land popping up all the time. So it's getting harder.
Yeah. What kind of hunts did you do?
Especially down in southern part.
Oh, southern part.
In the southern part, we're kind of where I am, and a little bit further south, you're going to see more posted land than unposted.
It's a little bluer down there, isn't it?
It is, yes. It's not quite as bad where I am, but it gets a little bluer.
Farther south you get, yeah.
That's because those Connecticut boys keep going up there and posting all the land.
Yeah, we gotta shut the border down. The Maine, New Hampshire one.
Maybe others.
Yeah, others
well.
If that's not the truth.
That's going to be a rabbit hole if we keep going on that. So.
I think we should just put a border all around New York. I think that would be the greatest start to the whole thing.
Totally good with that.
Well, New York City as a whole. I mean, upstate New York's fine.
Yeah.
But
Well, I can tell you this right now. I'm in Massachusetts driving right now, and I can't get out of this state fast enough.
No kidding.
Yeah. Don't go too fast.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's what I'm doing.
Your trip might be extended.
Keep it under 80 and don't stop for gas.
Yeah.
That's right.
Maine, Massachusetts, one of those worst states. Every time they come up to Maine, whether it's bear hunting, shed hunting, whatever, I get so worried driving through the state of Massachusetts. I hate this state with a passion. I really do. It sucks. There's nothing good here. Really, nothing good here.
Yeah.
I told
Maine's
Chav,
nice.
I told Chav if we get pulled over in Massachusetts and he asks us what we're doing, we're not going hunting. We're freelance photographers. That's all they need to know. They don't need to know about the 4 shotguns under the seat.
No.
Yeah, I know. Decoys hanging out the windows, and they're like, no, we're not on.
Nope.
Shotgun shells rolling around the center console.
You guys are police officers. You know what you're looking for here.
We know it.
Exactly.
2 burly, bearded men from Connecticut with shit everywhere. You know what's about to happen. Yeah, and the decoys are because of Seth, because he's got 7 DSDs in this thing, and I don't even know. I was gonna strap him to the roof. We almost didn't have any room for those things, Seth.
You got Seth's whole flock of turkeys back there.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
I should have left them in Connecticut. They're such nice decoys. No.
Yeah, I appreciate.
Yeah, that's great. You can stop by my place, just drop them off there. I don't know what to do. My house supports them, so.
Just tell him that they dropped off the back of the truck. He won't.
Yeah,
he won't
I don't know
listen.
what happened. I don't know what happened. They're gone.
Yeah, when I got pulled over in Massachusetts, the state confiscated them from me. Well, since you're not hunting, you won't be needing these.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys said
So you guys gonna have some time to go ahead.
No, please go ahead, please.
I was gonna ask if you guys are gonna have some time to go coyote hunting.
Yes.
Yes.
You got to twist my arm.
Yeah.
You can think about it if you want. You didn't really think about that very much.
We don't sleep, so don't worry about that. We'll figure that out.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I like sleeping a lot, but hanging out with Seth, you don't get a whole lot of sleep.
Yeah.
Nope. Well, I think we're going to end up pulling an all-nighter tonight. By the time we get into town, get camp all set up,
Yeah.
we'll probably just be up all night, honestly. Why don't you guys...
We went out Monday.
Okay,
Seth and I went out Monday. I went out Monday morning turkey hunting. I got up at 3:30 that morning on Monday, and Seth and I were out till coyote hunting till Tuesday morning. I got home around 2:30 Tuesday morning. So I've been up for 23 hours.
Wow. See, that's that stuff I'm looking for. Stick that needle right in my arm. I need that in my life. Jeez. So why don't you take us through a coyote hunt? Because I want to hear a little bit about it. We haven't had too many night coyote hunters on the podcast. Kind of break it down to us, kind of like how it starts, what you do, kind of how you get yourself to be successful.
Well,
this is Seth's wheelhouse, so we're going to throw him right in now.
I'm going to warn you that once you get started, you can't stop. It is an absolute drug.
Sell everything right now and stop.
No, I think the biggest thing, of course, is knowing your properties and what you have available. The thermal night game is obviously something you want to do in open areas. It's not something you can do in thick wooded areas. So knowing your areas a little bit, doing some scouting, see what you can find for sign, or some of the best information I get is from neighbors and landowners, farmers saying they've seen coyotes around. So that's the first thing, and then getting out there at night, getting your call set up. I think your calling, knowing what you're doing, calling is obviously very important, and it's trying to get the wind in your favor as best you can. Where you think the coyote's going to come from, making sure the wind isn't going that direction. But truth be told, they're a wild animal, so the wind can be blowing any which way. Who knows? But trying to put it in your favor as best you can. And then just riding it out, man. It's trial and error, trying to figure out. That's, I'm self-taught coyote hunting at night, and, other than what I've learned on the internet, podcasts, and there's a ton of information out there. But, just trial and error, trying to figure it out.
So one of the things is so you're literally just standing there in the middle of the field, there's no concealment, no nothing?
No, not a thing. Half the time I'm wearing blue jeans and a t-shirt, standing in the middle of the field.
And then you just have the caller out there and you just let it rip and just scan the field to see if something's coming?
Yep, that's pretty much it. I try to get the call, 50 yards out, and maybe off to a side a little bit, so if they do come out in the field and they're looking, there's moonlit nights that you're going to show up more than others, but if they're looking towards where the call is and not looking at you, you should be pretty okay.
Are you using a thermal scanner, or are you scanning with the scope?
I started out with, like everybody, I started out with lights, and then I went to night vision, and now thermals, and I was scanning with my thermal rifle scope, and then, now I'm using the handheld.
Right, and then you just switch over to the rifle once you see one.
Correct. Yeah.
Is there one call, kind of call sequence that you like better than another?
It all depends on the time of year. So right now, this time of year, the pups are, they were born in the den. They're probably 3, 4, 5 weeks old, something in that ballpark. So I'm trying to get their attention with some howls in the beginning, and then I'm using some pup sounds, whether it's pup distress or just pup sounds in general, and then transitioning into some fight sounds, that I run year round. And then I go into some adult distress type stuff. So the sequences evolve as the year goes on.
And how long is a set? How long are you getting into that field and setting up and staying, or?
I think it's everybody has their own preference. I'm not a big patience guy, and Tim can
You and Trevor are going to get along great.
Yeah. So 20 to 25 minutes is about my max. If I'm not feeling it and I haven't heard anything. If I've heard something, off in the distance that changes things, I'll work it for a while and see if we can come up with something. But I'd say 20 minutes is probably my average.
Yeah, see, Seth, me and you probably shouldn't be turkey hunting together because we'll be halfway across the state by noon. There will no question about that, dude, because I can't sit worth a shit turkey hunting.
Well, there's no Ubers up here, man, so we got to figure something out.
Are you a lot of your sets blind, or are you locating night prior? Like, are you going in with the pretty good assumption they're close, or you'll just give it hell in hopes that you get a response?
Yeah, no, I'm just going in blind. Okay. Like I said, I try to do some scouting in some areas and look for sign, but it really doesn't matter to me. I'm gonna, in the course of a night, hit 5 or 6 different sets probably, and so it doesn't matter to me if I've seen recent sign there or not. I'm gonna try it, and then I have some people that are requesting, that I kill some coyotes off their property. So I try to hit those a little more often, not really knowing much of anything where they are there.
So is that kind of the same thing where if it's not posted, you can go and hunt it?
Yes. Yep. 100%.
Do you ever get like somebody that comes out the dooryard like, "What are you doing in my field?"
No, I haven't had that that I can remember. Anyway, we run suppressed rifles. So we're pretty quiet in that regards, and then the callers. During the summer, if windows are open, I'm sure they can probably hear it a little bit. But during the winter, or even now, cooler nights, people are keeping their windows closed. They won't even know we're there.
Yeah, and then it doesn't.
I had a guy this winter come out and yell at us and start shining flashlights over to us, thinking we were coyotes, trying to drive us off.
Come on. What if they start, what's to say? I mean, Maine people are crazy. I mean, they probably shoot at you. Like, that's kind of, I'm second guessing this whole coyote thing. No, I'm just kidding.
Usually when we yell back at them, they figure it out pretty quick. They were not coyotes.
What caliber are you running? 223 or?
I've got a 243, and Tim is running a 22 250.
On AR platforms?
No,
nope.
Both. Yeah, bolt guns, Remington 700s.
Okay.
I had a AR-10 and 243, and I just had a lot of problems with it, and I switched to this bolt gun, and I've been super happy with it.
Right.
Yep.
That's nuts, though, and it kind of does a little turkey scouting for you sometimes too, right?
Yeah, 100%, man. You're running that coyote call at night, and the gobblers are going off in the trees around you. Works out pretty good.
Yep.
Can you shoot bobcats too this time of year?
No. You can't shoot them at night any time of year.
Oh,
There's
really?
a specific season for them.
Okay. All right, that makes so you can only hunt them during the day. Oh, no fox neither.
You know what's crazy? I just thought of. Well, I talked earlier how I night hunted once in Georgia for hogs and coyotes. It was actually this weekend. It was
really?
Memorial Day weekend.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yep.
2019.
Jeez.
So that's cool.
So we're knocking off some. We're reliving some deja vus here.
Yeah, some anniversaries.
Yeah. So Tim, I want to hear a little bit about the moose hunt, just a little bit more, man. And I think people might want to too. Like, what kind of stuff are you doing to get prepared for moose season? Like, there's a lot of pressure on that. Like, how do you go about it? Even do a moose hunt?
There is a lot of pressure on it because the clients are, they're putting their trust in us that we're gonna do, the best we can for them, and we want to make them have an enjoyable time while they're with us. So we do a lot of preseason scouting. The areas we traditionally guide in, we've been guiding in those areas for probably 11 years, I think, with a pretty high success rate. We're doing pretty well up in that area, and it's a really, we guide mostly in Aroostook County, which is the northernmost county in Maine, and there's a ton of moose up there. They're all over the place.
Is that zone 1?
And that is part of zone 1.
Okay.
Yep. It's zone 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6, and I think part of 4 also, like the northern part of 4. Those are the Aroostook County zones, and in my experience, that's the highest density of moose in the state and the highest success rate up in that area. It also has the 2 major seasons, which is the September season and the October season. Then there's like some what they call like the kind of like shoulder seasons kind of thing, But so we do a lot of preseason scouting. A lot of we go shed hunting in the winter to see moose that we've maybe seen in the past and didn't get a chance to harvest, see if they make it through the winter. We do, going by snowmobile, and we'll find the antlers, and that at least tells us they made it through hunting season, and most likely the winter. And go back in the spring and the same thing. And then we do a lot of scouting right before the season too, to find where we're seeing them, find the wallows, find the the rubs, the rakings, things like that, and where we're seeing the moose and the cows and the bulls.
And then as a hunt goes, like, you just go back into those areas and try and call them out, or?
So we'll have, before we leave camp in the morning, I'll have A, B, C, D, all the way down to Z areas I want to check. And I'll check the hottest spot first, where we've been seeing, the smoking hot wallow over there. So we'll go into that area, and the way I like to hunt is we get back in the woods, and we walk and we walk and we walk and we call. And it's just like running and gunning for turkey hunting. It's the same thing. We'll start calling, and if we get a response, we'll work it, and we'll just keep walking until we get a response, or until we decide this area is not good. We're going to move to the next area.
And like turkeys, they come barreling right in, and they kind of stand off, or is it just? It
depends. Like, if you're in the rut, which is usually the September season. That's the best, in my opinion. That's the best season to have, is because they're all wound up in the rut, and they're way more susceptible to calls at that point. And a lot of times they'll come charging right in. Other times they'll come in looking for a fight, and they'll come walking in, just raking their head back and forth, and they're looking to fight. If you had, they're during that rut, they're wound up. I mean, if you had to wait all year, you had to use it in 1 week, you'd be pretty wound up too. And they try to get everything they can and breed as many cows as they possibly can in that week.
That's wild. Could you imagine 1,000-pound animal coming charging at you, making all kinds of noise, raking on stuff, and they're like, they don't even care that you're a human being, really, right? I mean, like,
no. We have a video on our, I think you have it on Facebook and Instagram. I was guiding for another outfitter, and we called in this small bull. We see him coming from a long ways. You can see him grunting. And I told the client, I said, we're not going to shoot him. He's a small bull. We'll watch him. So the client said, I'm just going to set my gun up over here and video it. So he videoed it, and this thing's getting closer and closer and closer. And it's probably 8 yards from us at this point. And then it's getting closer and closer. Now it's probably 8 feet from us. And I said, all right, that's far enough. And I'm talking to him, the bull, and he could care less that I'm talking to him. And you see his ears go back, his eyes roll back, and I said, look out, and he charged us. I pushed my client to the side. I dove one way, he dove the other way, and the bull came right in between us with his antlers down trying to charge us.
Wow.
He turned around and then ran back off. And he said, that was awesome.
For who?
What's that smell?
Oh my God.
Can you, I know that's probably a loaded question, but generally, when you get a vocal response, can you kind of tell that it's a more mature bull or a younger bull, kind of like you can with a turkey, like a longbeard and a jake, or you really don't know until you get eyes on them?
Yeah, not always. I mean, the grunts sound differently, but it's not always, like, oh my gosh, that's a massive bull. Sometimes it is. When you hear that, you're like, that is a big bull.
Right.
And other times you're like, I'm not really sure.
So it's pretty.
And a lot of times you can hear when their antlers hit. There's a different tone between a small set of antlers and a big set of antlers. You learn to know the tone.
Right. So pretty similar to turkey. A lot of times you can tell it sounds like a jake, or if he's rolling hard, you can tell he's probably going to be a pretty decent bird.
Yes.
But they'll fool you sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, I had that happen. I shot a jake this year, thinking it was a longbeard, because it gobbled the wrong way.
You also called in 3 longbeards and thought they were jakes.
Yeah, I did call in 3 longbeards. Those things do happen,
people don't realize how big a moose actually is until it's laying on the ground in front of you, or it's standing there, 12 yards from you.
Yeah, what do people even say when they knock down their first moose and they've never seen one, and then they walk up to it and they're like,
usually it's some profanity or it's disbelief, like how something this big can be laying at their feet, And a lot of people have literally waited their entire life for this time. We had a hunter on this last October season. He's been putting in for 40 years.
Oh, wow.
And he says, he couldn't believe, he finally harvested one, and he just, I can't believe the size of this. I can't believe, this is the hunt.
Was it a big bull that he killed?
It was a decent bull. Yeah.
Yep.
We had really hard conditions during that October season.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of it was a good opportunity bull, and the weather was getting a lot worse in that later in that week too. So they were ecstatic with it. We had a great hunt.
I think killing any moose.
That's a factor that a lot of people I don't think realize. How is it a 5-day hunt when you're on a guided moose hunt?
6 days.
6 days,
hunt.
yeah. So you said,
Monday to Saturday.
You wait 40 years. You have 6 days to get it in. You throw weather as a factor, and I mean decisions have to get made at some point. Maybe Monday, Tuesday, or day 1, day 2, you can let it ride. But by the third day, you got to start thinking. You don't want to eat that tag.
No, in a typical 6-day hunt, you might get one perfect day where you're like the frost is perfect, the weather's changed. It's one of those crystal clear mornings, and you can hear for a long distance. But you may get one, maybe 2 days, but the rest of them you're fighting wind, you're fighting heat, you're fighting rain, whatever it is. You'll never get 6 days of good weather.
Right.
I think that's with any hunt though. When you travel to go hunt somewhere, I mean, it's like it's just like snow goose hunting. We say to book 3 days. Same with our sea duck hunting. You book 3 days because you're going to have one really good day, one decent day, and one crappy day. I mean, it's just inevitable, right? Like, it's just the way that it goes. And then the pressure's on. Where, you guys travel hunted. Like, when the pressure's on and you're in another state and you're just trying to fill that tag, come the end of the day, the last 2-3 days when the pressure's on, man, your exception for taking an animal is going to be totally different by the end of the week than it is in the first day they step on ground.
Absolutely. Like you said, Monday and Tuesday you can probably pass up some bulls. Some bulls you're like, they're not quite what we're looking for. But come Wednesday, you're starting to think, okay, maybe my standards have gone down a little bit. Come Thursday, you're like, here we go. To Friday, Saturday, and on my wife's hunt back in 21. We were waiting for a big bull. We wanted the big bull. She wanted the big bull. And by Thursday, she's like, I'm shooting the next bull I see.
Yeah.
I don't care what it is. If it's a legal bull, I'm shooting it.
The way I was look at it is you don't want to kill. You really don't want to kill on the day 1, and you really don't want to kill on the last day either.
Exactly.
No, that's right.
But she ended up harvesting a beautiful 56-inch bull on, I think it was Friday morning.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, she had you as a guide, so she could have went 6 days, 7 days, 10 days. It didn't matter.
Oh, no, she was done with me by probably Tuesday, I think. But she stuck it out. She didn't have a choice. We were in camp, but she didn't have a choice. So she stuck it out until Friday. She wasn't happy about it, but she did.
So when you go up and do those moose hunts and stuff, do you guys stay at a lodge somewhere, or do you just camp, or?
We have wall tents in a camp that we stay in.
Ah, sweet.
Yep.
So then you're giving the full experience then.
Oh yeah. We're remote. We're not near the towns. We're not near anything. We're remote back in there quite a ways. Last year, we Josh and I were sharing a tent one night. We heard crashing behind us, and it was actually a bull chasing a cow, grunting and thrashing, walking, and they were less than 100 yards behind us in the woods.
Wow.
You can where we set up, you can get up in the night. You don't hear anything. It's not like a city. Like, you don't even see lights up there. It's just the stars.
Mm-hmm.
And you can hear bulls grunting in the distance across the river. You'll hear cows moaning, and you'll hear coyotes. It's the middle of nowhere, and it's awesome.
I think everybody should go into the North Woods of Maine and experience that, because there's probably...
Yep, I agree.
There's not a lot of places in the world that are like the North Woods. There really is not anything like it. And it's like almost like what you just described to me, all I can think about is elk hunting out west, where they're bugling in the middle of the night. You're sitting on the mountains. You hear all this. I mean, I've never done it, but you guys hear stories, and that's virtually what you were just telling right here in New England.
Yep.
You know, and guys don't really realize some of the resources that you do have here in New England for hunting.
You know, like in the moose camp, you'll get up in the night to go to the bathroom or whatever, and you'll literally hear bulls grunting all around you. And the cows are moaning, and it's crazy to hear that stuff. You don't hear the traffic, you don't see lights, you don't see anything. You're in the wilderness, and it's great.
That's awesome. That doesn't get any better than that. Go ahead, Steve.
Does a non-resident have to have a guide?
No.
Okay, well, I know some.
I
think maybe Canada. I think there are some places if you draw that tag, it's mandatory to have a guide. I wasn't sure if Maine was one of them.
Yeah, I think the only way that affects up here is with hounds for bear.
Okay.
If you're gonna bring your hounds from as a non-resident, you have to have a Maine guide.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe that's the case.
That's because they're still attacking all that bear hunting with hounds. They want to get rid of it so
everything.
bad.
Yeah, they're going after bear pretty bad. They just shot down a coyote hunting bill up here, and they're trying for everything, you know.
That's one of the worst things about New England is that all the states want to shut down the hunting, but they don't really realize that a lot of the heritage has been built on this. People come from all over, like Maine. Maine is a destination state for a lot of people to go and do a lot of different things. Like go and bear hunt, go and moose hunt, go and, do a lot of things in Maine. I mean, they have the best lobster around, too.
Lobster.
Yeah, it's not just hunting either, recreational opportunities, hiking, canoeing, fishing, the opportunities are endless in Maine for the outdoors. They are.
Now, do you guys, Seth, you just brought up a very good point. Do you guys guide for stuff like that, too, or just the hunting aspect?
We're just into the hunting right now, but we're going to expand to the fishing and the recreation also.
Yep.
We have our licenses for that stuff. So we're just, like I said, we just started this last year, 2022. And so it's growing as we go. So we're going to expand to the fishing and to the recreation side of it also.
That's awesome. Because like the canoeing up there, the brook trout.
Snowmobiling and four-wheelers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, the recreation trails up here for the ATVs and the side-by-sides and all that stuff, there's amazing trails, especially up in the county and down east. There's some great destinations down there. And the snowmobiling, the snowmobile trails up here are great. They do really hard work on those trails up in the county and all around the state, actually.
When you're ready to do that, I'll be the first one to do a shed hunt on snowmobile, please. Thank you.
Come on up. We go every year and we love it. We stay right in camp and we sled right out of camp. It's great.
So one of my favorite things to do, and I wasn't able to do it this season, just everything's kind of crazy, is shed hunting in the North Woods of Maine. Me and the dog go up there and do a ton of remote camping. I normally do 2 weeks. Just me, the dog, and a buddy or two. And one of my big things I want to do is on the snowmobile, just because the snowmobilers get half of our antlers half the time.
Yeah, that's how we do it mostly. And Seth and I don't really live in the moose country, but we have the camp up there and everything. So we go stay at camp. We have friends up in the county that's all they do in the winter is shed hunt, and they'll find 50, 60 sheds a season.
Yep.
Moose sheds. It's crazy. Actually, the moose that my wife harvested, a friend of ours came and saw the moose, and he said, I've got 2 seasons of sheds from this moose.
Come on.
And he showed me a picture of it, and he actually had the right side of that bull. He'd already sold them, so he didn't have them anymore. But he knew that bull. He had the sheds from it.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's just like whitetails back home. Everybody, That's crazy. And they're probably in dog chews, so you probably couldn't get them back.
Yeah, he actually called and tried to get it back, and they'd already been cut up.
They've been cut up, yeah.
Yep.
Those things happen. So now you guys actually, you guys have a camp up there that, if guys want to come and hunt with you, that they can go to, like an actual lodge, or?
No, it's one that we own. It's a camp that we have, and we use the tents also.
Okay. So,
but if we were going to do anything up in that area, depending on what the activity was, depending on where we'd stay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No, I'm just asking, like, just for information for the listeners.
Welcome to New Hampshire.
Yeah, we made it to New Hampshire. Live free or die. If finally out of Massachusetts. So, like, if
Found the breathe.
if you have, is your butt a little less puckered up over there, Steve-O?
Yeah. Pull the seat cover out.
So if you guys have clients that want to come up and do certain activities with you, is there a lodge or is it self-lodging, or how do you guys normally run your operation?
It depends on, like, with the bear hunts, we have a place for them to stay, a camp.
Yep.
You know, and for the moose hunt, same thing. They'll stay with us in camp,
Okay.
and they'll stay right there.
Okay.
So it's like a main lodge kind of, or camp, whatever you want to call it. That's where we have all our meals and everything will be right there. That's where we start the day and we end the day right there.
Okay. So different activities, different things include, and
Right.
different things for that. That's awesome. Yep. Awesome, guys. And where can they find you? We might as well get that up and out of the way real quick while we're on the topic of conversation.
Yeah, we're on Instagram and Facebook, 207 Outfitters on both of those, and the website's www.207outfitters.com.
Awesome, and I'll drop that in the link below so you guys can go and click on that and check out their stuff.
Awesome.
Obviously, some pictures and some good stuff there. So
I'm sure there's gonna be plenty of tags coming this weekend.
Some more to
and
add
some
this
pictures.
week. Yeah.
So this.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Seth.
No, I was going to say some cool videos on the social media too, if anybody wants to check those out.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, and we'll be tagging you guys. I mean, this podcast is dropping tonight, so it will be live and ready to rock and roll for the morning. By the time we're out turkey hunting together, the podcast will be up, and then we'll start. You guys will all see all the stuff on our social media also, so you guys can go and check out 207 and all that good stuff. So we're looking forward to being up there and doing some turkey hunting. Any type of game plan to start off and just kind of let all the listeners kind of know what we kind of get going in the morning?
Well, I've got a couple of spots lined up. Hoping. Well, I was kind of waiting to see how late you guys are going to sleep in first, but we'll.
I already told you we don't sleep.
We don't sleep.
Yeah, no, I guess you don't need to. I guess you're all set.
Seth doesn't either, so you guys will be good.
We were hoping to roll into town and go coyote hunting. I don't know what you're talking about.
We ain't gonna want a coyote tonight with that weather coming through.
No, just kidding. We're drinking coffee already.
We definitely will get out. Yep. No. Mind-blowing game plan. Just go out there and give them a try in a couple spots like I get in mind, and then do some running and gunning and see what we can come up with.
Yeah. So now explain it to me real quick. Like in Maine, like, do you just have like one good set in the morning and then just kind of do what everybody does, kind of just check around, run some trails, run some roads, try and find some birds, get around them and hunt? Or are you like mostly just that one main hunt and then that's it?
No, I think, like any other kind of hunting, everybody does their own thing. But, now that we're getting later in the season, you see the birds early in the mornings in the fields and then they're off into the woods. So I think that'd be kind of our game plan as well, is to get a good set in the morning and in a high probability area, and then maybe check a couple other places and then just go out and about and see what we can come up with.
Awesome. Yeah, that sounds like a good plan to me, man. And we're really looking forward to it. I hope we kill some birds in the morning to start off the weekend right.
Yep. That'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, boys, we have one last question for you guys. Seth probably knows what it is. I don't know if Tim does, so we'll start off with Tim. But
nothing good can come from that.
You got any?
Oh, hold on. We got to pay a toll here, or we're gonna get arrested.
So much
in New
for
Hampshire.
live free or die. Give me your money.
$3, please.
There you go. So Tim, I want to know, what drives you outdoors, my friend, now that you're on the Outdoor Drive podcast?
I've been in the outdoors my entire life. I was brought up on the coast, and I've always just pushed towards hunting and fishing and just being outside. I mean, I love hunting, fishing, and my favorite thing is getting people out there that haven't had much of an opportunity to get out, kids or even adults that have never hunted before. I love getting out there and seeing a kid's face when that turkey gobbles first thing in the morning, or a hunter on a moose hunt that hears the grunt or the raking or something like that, something they've never experienced before. And that's what really pushes me, is living the experience through somebody else. That's, I know my feelings when I see that stuff, but to have somebody else there that's doing it for the first time is really what drives me.
That's awesome, man. There's nothing better than that. And I had a feeling it was going to be something like that, especially being a guide. I'd imagine that it was, you kind of have to have that feeling for the outdoors.
Yep.
How about you, Seth, man? What drives you outdoors, buddy?
Well, obviously I've heard this question quite a few times now and thought a lot about it. And I almost think it's a primal instinct that's in a lot of us, and I think it comes out more in some than others. And I think what drives me is, just matching whips with an animal. And, oftentimes like deer hunting, it's a specific animal that I'm pursuing. And, just trying to get that upper edge on him and get that opportunity, even if it doesn't work out. But I think, that's what drives me outside.
Boom.
Yeah.
That's me right there, bud, in a nutshell. Love it.
Seth knew what to say. That's why we started off with Tim. We couldn't give him any time to think about it. We just figured we'd throw him right to the wolves.
Jeff's answer was way better.
Yeah. You have to remember, now Seth's been listening to the podcast for quite some time, knew what to expect, so that's why I saved him for a second.
The heads up, Steph. Appreciate that one.
I'm here for you, buddy.
Well, fun with that.
Yeah, right.
Nothing better than that. Well, boys, is there anything you guys want to finish off with, or something that we missed throughout the podcast, or?
We appreciate you having us on. We're really looking forward to hunting with you guys this week. It'll be a lot of fun.
Yep, I'm going to echo the same thing Tim said. Appreciate you guys having us on. It's been a lot of fun talking to you. And I too am looking forward to this weekend. I hope we have some success, but I know we'll have fun.
See, the great thing about camp is we have some ex-cops to keep us in line. We can't get in trouble. We can, keep it calm and cool, collective in camp.
Well, it's funny you say that because I don't want to interrupt the podcast, but I can't believe you just let me drive by the New Hampshire liquor store and you didn't have me stop.
I didn't even think about it.
I'm glad you didn't see it. I wasn't going to point it out to you. I just drove right by it.
Story of my life here. Damn it. Well,
there's
boys.
another one at the Rotary.
Watch your mouth.
All right. Here we go. Well, we're going to have fun at camp. We're really looking forward to it. We can't thank you guys enough for jumping on the podcast and then, stepping up to come and do this and hang out with us in camp. It's going to be fun. We're looking forward to making memories and having a good time and hopefully killing some birds. But that's second to having a good time in camp. So.
Yeah, sure.
Well, for you guys out there, we appreciate you guys listening to the podcast. Make sure you guys go and check out 207 Outfitters and follow on all of our social media throughout the weekend. We're going to have some really good stuff coming to you. And for everyone else, thanks for taking the ride right here on the Outdoor Drive.